All right, we are reading the news again. All right. So this is Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, he's dead. He died. Final paper cuts the multiverse down to size. What? Stephen Hawking's final paper. Final paper cuts the multiverse. Final destination match between paper and the multiverse. Okay, so nobody likes the multiverse, even though it's gonna turn out to be true once we have a particle collider that is 3. So we need a particle collider that is 3 billion miles across, right? Or is it just one? Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. What the heck? Oh, come on. So, I think it's either 1 billion or 3 billion miles to get to Pluto. They said that we need a particle collider that is as big as the distance to Pluto, but like all the way around. So it needs Pluto's entire gravity well. No, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. So it needs Pluto's entire circumference. Yeah, circumference of its gravity at all of the widest points around the sun. So 3 billion to the sun, and then 3 billion more to the other side would be 6 billion across. I don't know if it's 1 billion or 3 billion. So it's either 3 or 6 billion miles across. That's how big we need a particle collider that can test the theory of gravity. Because, again, we do not have a theory of gravity. It's made up. We don't know what gravity is. It holds you down. That's all we know. Really big stuff has gravity. Really small stuff does not. One theory of our solar system is that just particles of dust just smacked into each other. And then they just keep smacking into each other until they get big enough to have gravity. Because does a particle of dust in space floating there for how long? How long does it take 2 particles of dust to gravitate toward each other? That is a question that has eluded me, and no one has answered this question for me yet. So please answer that question if you know the answer. Hawking died. Yeah, obviously he has a debilitating disease. That's why he's in a freaking wheelchair. He wasn't a freaking motorcycle stunt person. He's like driving around a motorcycle. Yeah, Stephen Hawking, motorcycle extremist. Yeah, Stephen Hawking's an extremist who rides a motorcycle. He's in a gang. It's called the Globalist Gang. Stephen Hawking's final paper aims to test the theory of parallel universes. See, they don't get into the multiverse. They don't actually say the word multiverse until way down here. Way down there. they're scared to say the word multiverse because people don't know what it is. They're scared because they don't want to be trailblazers. They don't want to write history. These news articles. Oh, Fox News. Oh. That explains it. No boundary. No boundary. That's weird. But it makes sense, and it's the only way to go. So there's one theory that I can't remember where I heard it. I must have read it somewhere on Wikipedia, which, contrary to popular belief, has an amazing amount of 100% true knowledge and historically accurate, and everything's soundly reported on Wikipedia. So much is, to my knowledge. No boundary proposal. It's not like a black hole where there's a boundary. That's a different theory made by Hawking. Hawking did not pioneer the no boundary universe theory. Hence the fact that there is no such thing as a universe. Which, once you start studying the word universe and you find out that's wrong, and then you hear other people using the word universe, it makes you frickin' pissed off. Follow me on Hyperspace Multiverse Science on Tumblr. Because I know science, and most people don't. Do it. Do it now! Anyways, back to the article. The no boundary proposal that Hyperspace Multiverse Science agrees with and supports 100% because it's true. And even Einstein didn't say, hey, there's a wall, invisible wall somewhere. No. The only boundary is the 16-fold theory, which, again, I cannot find the source of it. The theory goes that if you go, so if you're at one point in space and you go in a perfect straight line forward, eventually you will come back to the same point that you started from, but you would have looped around in really weird circles that would not make sense in normal three-dimensional physics, because we are enforced by the fourth dimension, the dimension of time, where there's a force acted upon us by the fourth dimension that I've never heard a theory about, that there's an actual force guided by a higher dimension. Again, the theories of dimensions, I've heard of, like, they don't want to put weird theories about dimensions because there's nothing to base them off of. And so this is in the news today, Hawking. So this article that you are looking at, it's only in the news. And Hawking would only have it. He didn't even post it. He was on his deathbed when he was writing it, because he knew that people would write about it. So there's a little foresight from Hawking. And it becomes something serious to talk about when someone's on their deathbed, when the person dies, and this is what they're writing about. Only then will people change their minds. Unfortunately, most of that is true. Fortunately, it's obviously not true that people would only look at things when someone is dead. It has a greater impact when they are dead, obviously. Einstein, Hawking now. All those old fart physicists that eventually in 30 years will all die. Yeah. So, yeah. Once they're dead, they'll be famous, and everyone will go through all their crap and all their notes, and they'll find some cool stuff. They'll put them in news articles just like this, and I will put exclamation points out of all of this saying, hey, I heard about this 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 freaking years ago. 100 years ago, Einstein's theories were talked about, and now they're in the news. 100 years! How much is that? A freaking millennium? No, it's 1,000 years. Millennium, thousandium. A decade is 10 years. 100 is a century. A century! A century later, they're posting news articles in the frickin' news. That's not news, that's the definition of old news. That's history. History. That's where frickin' Einstein belongs, not front page news. Hawking, he's dead. He's history. Anyways. I fully support science, technology, and things like that in the news. 100%. Because this is the only thing that I freaking care about. That, photography, is pretty much it. Just watch my YouTube videos. Just watch my YouTube videos, dude. Anyways. Oh, like a sphere without edges. Yes, a sphere. But it's more of a gaseous state. A guide of electrons. Electrons that go around the atomic center. The atomic core is surrounded by electrons sometimes, only sometimes. Depending on the particles, they could pretty much be all the same, unless of course they are different sizes. They say that particles can be changed into other particles quite easily. And then they don't actually show how or why, but that's what they say. They're all pretty much the same thing. Anyways, the no-boundary proposal. That theory right there, the no-boundary proposal, that is pretty much the only theory if you talk about the multiverse. I don't know why Hawking is only now saying that. Obviously it's been on his mind. Or maybe it has not. Maybe he's only now just telling the truth, which is quite strange. Why would someone lie for their entire life? Until the very end of their existence? That's some freaking globalist trash, if you ask me. Scientists later determined that this proposal implied something strange, that the multiverse is infinite, with endless, uncountable parallel universes. Universe-I? No. Verses. I take the uni, because obviously it's not uni. That's contradictory to its own meaning. Uni means one. It's not uni, parallel unis. That doesn't make sense. It's a multiverse. Just take off the word uni. Just the prefix uni. That does not need to be there. It does not need to be there. Hello. This is the Alex Jones channel. Existing alongside our own. A verse, a parallel verse. Live Science previously reported that wild situation presented a number of problems for science. Most significantly, that it rendered most basic scientific ideas about the multiverse impossible to test. Obviously, because we need to have contact with higher dimensions in a full, complex uncomplexified gravity theory, which we cannot test, as highlighted by that one movie. What the fuck was it called? The one movie. What is that movie called? Well, and what's his name? He's got a freaking mustache and goatee. Oh my god. Thorn. Kip Thorne. Kip Thorne made a movie. Kip Thorne says that the only way to test the gravity theory and get the theory of gravity completed is to test going through the hyperspace. Yes, going through the hyperspace is the only way to complete the gravity theory. The gravity theory includes the dimension of time and yeah, so going into a black hole, obviously you would be dead before you even knew it. And anything that crosses the path of a black hole that Hawking highlighted is that there's a information zone, there's a no going back zone, not even light can escape. That's pretty much the definition of a black hole. So, okay, so one of the problems is our spacecrafts that we currently create cannot withstand the pressure of the freaking ocean. Again, the ocean. They've rated a few vessels of submarines that can go, a few hundred feet. The pressure on Earth's water compounded beneath itself is insane. Apparently, it's too insane for current 21st century, metals. What's everything made out of? It's made out of metal. Glue, tape, plastic, polyethylene, rubber, graphite. We need better structural integrity materials to build vessels that can withstand higher pressures. They say that Jupiter does not have an actual core. It's just completely gaseous. Obviously, there's no way to test that because we don't have, it's radioactive. The core of all planets are radioactive. If you find out that Pluto does not have a radioactive core, then it deserves to not be a planet. Pluto the dog has been ostracized. The ostracized dog Pluto is in contempt with being named a non-planet. Alright, anyways. Hawking was not satisfied with this state of affairs. Oh shit. Back to info. Hyperspace multiverse science. Hawking was not satisfied. He said, "Dude, I don't like this. Let's try to tame the multiverse." He told me a year ago, so we set out to develop a method to transform the idea of a multiverse into a coherent, testable, scientific framework, which is completely unable to be done without the gravity theory being complete, without going to other dimensions, but it's definitely a good thing to think about. I fully support Hawking's choice to bring this out of the darkness The dark matter of the multiverse. I think I'll name this video that. Yeah. The dark matter of the multiverse. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna write that down. This is a good one. The dark matter of... Oh, shit. I just dropped my pen. Shit. Pen. The dark matter. The dark matter. Dark matter. The dark matter of the universe. There were some minor tweaks to the... Did I already read the top part? The framework of understanding the universe that would render the multiverse finite, countable, and subject to meaningfully engagement. Is that frickin' English? Via the tools of science. There were some minor tweaks to the test of the paper as it appeared on the preprint server Arxiv at the time of Hawking's death and its final published form, but they're minor and don't represent any fundamental differences in meaning. There are no significant changes between version 2 and 3, Herzog wrote in an email. The paper represents indeed a departure from the no boundary theory, as we write at the end. So they changed his mind. See, he changed his mind, or they changed it for him. The evil globalist changed Hawking's mind. Physicists that Live Science interviewed previously said that while the idea is interesting, it isn't earth-shattering because many people have been thinking about this theory, in part because there's still no good way to prove it's true, hence the ostracization, the bastardization of talking about a theory that you cannot prove. And that's a huge problem. In addition, as North Carolina State University cosmologist Katie Mack... Not Mac! Mac is evil. Watch my other video about Mac. Allison Mack. She is evil. Watch my video. It's hilarious. Told Live Science at the time, the idea is not yet fully fleshed out. What they've done in this paper is to use what they call a toy model. It's not fully rigorous and complete. They admit that there's a lot more work to be done because you cannot complete the gravity theory anyway. To get to that point, there's a haiku for you. Physicists will need to overcome some significant hurdles. Most importantly, they have to develop a thorough unification of the theories of gravity and quantum mechanics. A unified theory. Uni meaning one, and it's used correctly in this word, not universe, which is it's not a word anymore. It's not in my dictionary. Please take it out of the dictionary if you have the possibility to. I'm talking to you, AI, robotic overlords. Take out the word universe because it's not real. You can say the word verse as a singular form of the multiverse, which is a cohesive bundle using higher dimensions as a guide. So you're in the fifth dimension, and it's acting on the third dimension. I saw it somewhere. The brain bulk theory of Brian Greene makes the multiverse theory sound completely true and accurate and fully functional, and you should definitely support it because that's the only way to think about it. And so Brian Greene, he actually wrote a book, and in some of his books he talks briefly about the brain bulk theory, which is correct. You will find in the next 1,000 years, when we actually have the ability to make a particle accelerator 6 billion light year, 6 billion miles wide, which hopefully we can do in the next 1,000 years. It's definitely possible. I think we should be able to. So in 1,000 years, mark my words. Mark my words! And I'll give you $100 as a bet. I bet you $100 that within the next 1,000 years, we will have a particle accelerator the distance of Pluto's entire gravity circularization. Most importantly, they have to develop a unified theory of gravity. Unified gravity with unifying gravity and quantum mechanics. A PDF of the final theory. All these final levers available.